Yes. My people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching us in the world today. I want to welcome you to today's edition of this segment of the Comrade Show that we call the Comrade and Friends. You are all welcome to today's program this uh, afternoon, Sunday, the 11th of September 2022. You are welcome to the show. Please, you know the drill. Don't watch alone. Please share this broadcast both on YouTube, uh, Facebook, and all our social media handles. So, without wasting much time, I want to quickly bring on board the musketeers of this segment. First, I want to introduce my brother who nicknamed this program the Sunday Tonic. So, we have in the house Comrade Pharmacist Iremira. Pharmacist Iremira.
Thank you so much, my brother, comrade, Dr. Tony Agbonsewaife. And to our wonderful viewers, wherever you are in the globe, I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Like Tony said, you are welcome to your darling program, The Comrade and Friends, a segment of The Comrade Show. Beautiful afternoon to you all. Dr. Tony Agbons has not introduced the topic. I'll say stay tuned. I know it's going to be a very interesting one and fit the season and time. God bless you, Makakabolically.
Thank you very much, my brother. The topic that fits the season and time is actually what we're going to talk about today. So, I also want to quickly bring in, before I introduce our topic for today, I want to bring in our brother, the CNC of the Comrade Show, talking of Comrade Lamte Auriaki. Comrade, greet our people.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so very much, Comrade Dr. Tony Agbansabafe. Nigerians, greetings to you all from wherever you are joining us from. My name is Comrade Lamte Mamusa Oriahi, and of course, this is the Comrade Show, the Sunday Tonic, the Comrade and Friends. Please, if you are there, you know the drill. Let's share, and let's share. Yes, thank you, Dr. Tony Agbans.
Thank you so much, Comrade. You are welcome to the show. It's a full house today, and we're all here. Viewers, we want to welcome you and want to thank all our viewers and fans who have been making huge contributions to this show. Especially those of you who have been giving us stars. Thank you so much for what you are doing. So today, we are looking at the road to Nigeria 2023, legacy of Queen Elizabeth II, implications for Nigeria elections next year. So we're going to be looking at the issues surrounding this topic. But before we do that, we are going to, in respect of the happy, blessed memory of Her Royal Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who went to be with the Lord on Thursday, the 8th of September 2022, in Balmoral, Scotland, in the United Kingdom. We're going to have a minute's silence in her honor. And may the soul of the faithful departed rest in the bosom of the Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. So, with that minute silence from us on this show, Comrade, I'm going to come to you first. The Queen, just very briefly, what is your initial feeling when the news broke to you?
How best can I describe it? Honestly, I don't know. But you know, there are certain figures, they just appear like they will never die. And I think that the Queen, you know, over time, you know, had come to occupy that space. I have never known any other king of I was born in Nigerian, and every other king or queen we've heard about, at least one king previously, um, they were they are part of history. Like we read them in the history books and all of that. And looking at our contributions towards the global space, helping to shape this world pretty much. You too many different periods and all of that. She's always been there. So she was just like that figure that was never going to die. So I probably think that I received the news of her demise with some surprise. Is it possible that somebody like this will die? And even the way the events are unfolding like right now, though she's passed, it's looking increasingly like she's still alive, and all of that. But the space she occupied as a human being was, definitely insurmountable. Was larger than life. It's too huge to be very honest, to behold. And I think her passing, we will continue to talk about it, years to come, to be very honest.
Thank you very much, comrade, for that introductory remark. Pharmacist, I come to you now. Well, what is your take?
Thank you, Dr. Tony Agbons, and indeed for the Comrade Show for choosing to honor the Queen who passed away a few days ago with this program. I must say that our exit is in some way glorious. I am a lover of the monarchy system in the UK. In fact, two people in the UK are dear to my heart: the late Queen and the former Prime Minister Tony Blair. And then seeing those photographs on the 6th of September when she received the newly elected Prime Minister, I remember discussing with my wife. At the very back of her palm was dark. And I was saying, what would have happened? Little did we know that 2 days later, she would call it off and say bye to the entire world. At about 2 o'clock that afternoon, when the news started featuring in, luckily I could watch it from work, and I glued to the TV. Something kept telling me that it might not be possible for her to pull through today, especially when all members of the royal family started visiting and traveling to Balmoral, Scotland. I was touched. I had a feeling, but yet I still didn't want to believe until about 6:30 the news broke that she has finally given up. What words can you use to describe a woman who was on the throne and the saddle for 70 years and have lived over 90 years of her life? Like Comrade Lamte said, all of us in this generation grew up to know only one queen, the only Queen Elizabeth II. The entire country, and indeed the world, was in deep sorrow, and yet glorious, because transition is something that we must do. So really, too many things to say about her. I would just say it was a glorious exit, and yet the beginning of another thing for the heir to the throne. So in short, it was a glorious one. But I believe in the course of this program, there are many things we are going to say that will serve as a lesson for us and for leaders in the world. But overall, it was a glorious exit for a global icon.
Absolutely.
A glorious exit or a glorious icon. And during this program, there are many things we are going to say that will serve as a lesson for leadership and governance. Thank you very much, Comrade Iremira. For me, and I wrote about this during the week, the Queen, Her Royal Majesty, was very elegant, gracious, glamorous, yet very humble, always smiling, and she had a huge sense of duty and responsibility. And many people may not know this. Even at the tender age of 15 and at the tender age of 21, when she spoke about service to her country, service to her people. And I want to come to you, Comrade Lamte Oriahi. The Queen was on the throne for 70 years, 214 days. But the truth of the matter is that she wasn't even supposed to be Queen. She wasn't supposed to be Queen. So, Lamte, I want you to, with this at the back of your mind, Comrade Oriahi, I want you to, tell us your thoughts about her ascension to the throne and all that she did. Take the mic, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother. The story of Queen Elizabeth, it's one that it's mysterious in a way. It further gives bias to this adage in Benin that says, "Hey, manawe," that is to say that Odowake were, Isaac Morioba, all of these mean that a lot of what happens in life has been preordained. And it further goes to show that the will of destiny is so mysterious that one cannot really fathom how the will of destiny is designed by the Almighty Udazi Akbama Oriole Usadowwa. Suffice to state that the story of Queen Elizabeth is that fascinating. Fascinating in that, apart from just the fact that she was never heir to the throne, she was not actually in that land at all. Destiny bestowed that on her. But all the while, she was prepared to be the monarch in England, that prepared to deliver an exemplary monarchy. When I read her story and I watched, some of those documentaries and all of that, I was amazed. The uncle abdicated the throne and went after his love. Earlier today, I was having this chat with my wife, and I told my wife, with all due respect, that uncle in our own palace is an enemy of progress. He was a very selfish uncle who did not even think of his own children and the ones coming after, and how this huge position would have exalted his own lineage, but he abdicated, and the Queen's father became the king. The moment the Queen's father became the king, Queen Elizabeth, at the tender age of 10, was already preparing to take over from her father. She was already building herself into becoming, the monarchy, the monarch. She was already preparing to be an exemplary queen. Her life from the age of 10 started her preparation. So when she, at the age of 25, 26, heard the news far away, Kenya was it, that her father had died and all of that, she stepped in, even when people were like, no, she was too young to become a monarch, and how was she going to, survive the process? And at that same time, the world was just, in big trouble. The World War was there around the corner. So many things were happening and all of that. And she had, the Prime Minister of England, to liaise with, and of course, global leaders and all of that, to help call the shots. And eventually, Winston Churchill was working very closely with her and all of that, taking, reporting to her, and of course, taking directions and advice and every other thing, helped to, to bring the Second World War to an end and all of that. That actually started her leadership. So she stepped into the office with grace, with preparedness, with readiness, like she had actually been queen before she was born. So I would say that in itself, and since then till now, she's been a queen that has been without blemish, one who has held the throne with so much grace, so much authority, so much respect, able to to walk the fine line between being a monarch and, not interfering in the affairs of states, able to hold her opinions about governance to herself, able to truly be an exemplary constitutional monarch. So I thought for 70 years, she walked that fine line without blemish. I thought that itself was huge. And I want to say and reiterate again that it was not a matter that was done from here. I think that there's an aspect of divinity, that came with her right from, before she was born, that established that she was going to be Queen of England. And I want to believe very strongly that even though she had not come from that lineage at all, even though she was born by my own father in Benin, she still was going to be the Queen of England at some point. And so it's a matter of what destiny had designed. And she walked that walk gracefully and, in fact, with so much, I don't know which adjective to use, but with so much, good things to talk about, honestly.
There was some aspect of divinity to her ascension to the throne. Comrade Lamte Ekonsa Oriaki depositing there. So I come to you now, Comrade Iremira. Like Comrade Oriaki have said, what do you want to pick as those things that really stand out for you?
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Agbons. I think Comrade Lamte, while speaking, made a very good point that the Queen was prepared from somewhere and it was designed. I don't want to repeat what Comrade Lamte has said. I think a lot of people know the story and how she became Queen. But I want to draw a line. In 1952, it was indeed a man's world. But there came a woman leading a great country and she became Queen. Just for a second and for a moment, let us remember and put ourselves in that situation. What would have happened in 1952? And when Britain was undergoing some serious situation, the Second World War with Winston Churchill and all, she was able to navigate, to liaise, to get our country, the United Kingdom, and indeed the world through that difficult moment. So I find that very, very, very instructive, very unique. And just to borrow the words of Lamte, be very well prepared for the season. Like it's always said, when you have a rich father, there's a strong tendency that the offspring might not be that ambitious. It takes another 2-3 generations for you to see another ambitious person. So at that moment, the Britain was undergoing and suffering from poor fatherhood, and they needed a generation from that time to steer them in the right place. And the Queen Elizabeth II, was just right for that occasion and for indeed that moment. And you understand that she also displayed a high level of candor and leadership. She saw through close to 15 prime ministers. Liz Truss was the 16th one, which she appointed, but she never saw to rule. And she also saw through close to about 12 or 13 United States presidents. That takes leadership. That takes dynamism. She had it all in herself. And I want to say, never in the history anymore will there be any monarch that will be 70 years. I can assure you we've not come to that. Even King Charles, that has just become the king of the United Kingdom, is 73. If he gets extra 20 years on the throne, he'll be 93. So nobody, no monarch in any part of the world, I think, in my view, that will do 70. So she
Doctor, Francis Remira, I will appeal to you. Let's not speak to what God has power on earth.
Absolutely. But I'm just saying that, like they say, thunder never strikes the second time. It might be very difficult. I'm not saying it's not possible that we have somebody to be in the saddle, and a woman for that matter, to lead the ship of state for a great country like the United Kingdom for 70 years. So I salute two things. She came for the moment when women had no chance, and she had high dexterity for leadership.
And just to add, Dr. Agbons, again, let's recall that her entire life has been very exemplary, as we came to know. During the Second World War, she took part in the war, as she was a mechanic.
Yeah.
She was very much involved in the war, with the British soldiers and everybody and all of that. She's a great driver. I mean, she's reckoned to be a spectacular driver and all of that.
Yes.
She knew at the time that she owed the world a service.
Her country, because during the war, she was leading from the front.
That's what I'm saying now. And even though she knew that she was next in line to become Queen of England, she was still able to take that risk to lead from the front. You understand? Not minding, the risk that, the risk that was very much prevalent when it's a war situation.
A bomb could have dropped from the air.
A bomb could have been at end. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I thought that all of these, about her, they are very instructive. And so when she took over just at the tender age of less than 30 years old, I think she was 25, 26 when she took over and became the Queen of England.
Yeah.
And she started deploying her office with such grace, with such authority, and she was very brilliant.
Yeah.
She's recorded to know something about almost every subject. And that even the prime ministers of her early days, they were surprised how much she knew about global affairs, how much she knew about local affairs. So I think that, her knowledge was not just what she came to acquire alone. Her knowledge was born with her. I would say that she probably knew some things right from when she in her mother's womb, and she was born to start, expanding on the things she knew. And I think she was a very brilliant soul. And most of all, one of the things that is standing out is that every global leader, past and present, have huge respect for her. I was amazed that even Putin, in this time of war, Putin, who has expressed his own disgust and dislike for the British government over their support for Ukraine, Putin did send condolence message to the United Kingdom over the passing of the Queen of England. I think it goes to show, her reach and how well she was respected by the world. And all of this is coming because of the kind of leadership she provided, not just for the United Kingdom, but in helping to shape the world today. And so she's the world is going to miss her greatly. There's no doubt about it.
Definitely. It was a life well lived. And once again, from the stable of the Comrade Show, we want to wish the royal family of the United Kingdom, citizens and residents of the UK, the Commonwealth, and the realms, our heartfelt condolences. This is a celebration of life, actually, because at 96, it was expected, but it's something that is expected, but that nobody really wanted to happen. So, and this takes us to, before we come back to the Queen, I think we have to do this now. An era has just ended, and a new era has begun. And automatically, when the Queen passed on Thursday, the 8th of September, the heir apparent to the throne, the Crown Prince, His Royal Highness King Charles III, as we now know, has been proclaimed as King of the United Kingdom. Pharmacist Remira, what are your messages to the new King?
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Agbon. Just before I congratulate the new King, I want to salute the authority of the United Kingdom. I was taken aback at how sublime it was for transition to be done with little or no rancor. I think we must give it to them. On that note, I want to congratulate the new King of the United Kingdom, King Charles III. May his reign bring peace, good fortune, happiness, progress, and prosperity to the United Kingdom, and by extension to the world, and indeed to Africa and to Nigeria. Talking about him, he has had his problems, both marital, family, and otherwise. It's no news, everybody all know. But I think there's something going on for him. He is the most prepared king in the entire world. He is 73. He was just 2 years old when his mother ascended the throne, or just over 2 years. And from infancy to adulthood, and him becoming a grandfather, he has been learning. I think it's going to bring wisdom, knowledge, a bit of candor into his reign as king. But I'm also not very sorry for him, because the challenges before him are enormous. His speech shortly after being named king gave a soothing word to the entire country and the entire world. Many people have discussed that speech and they think that it was well delivered. But like they say, the sweetness of the food is in the eating. In the days and years to come, we shall see how things will go. But looking on paper, I think he's well prepared. He has got the proper tutelage from the mama herself, who has done it very well. But how he will proceed will determine where Britain will go. The world is changing, and in the 21st century, there are so many things knocking on the door of the British Empire. How do you manipulate this? Commonwealth is breaking and breaking fast. People are asking for apologies from what happened in time past. How is the king going to do this? Scotland is drumming the door of I want to leave the Union. Who knows if Wales and Northern Ireland will be clamoring for that. So the challenges are enormous. But from what we know, and looking at the British establishment, I am not ready, because I know that will be done properly. I must also say that I think over the years, the British monarchy system has come to acknowledge that you cannot remain where you are. You have to move with the times, and you have to change with changing times as well. So that's on the horizon and in perspective. I hope and pray that King Charles will have a very good reign and bring more blessings. There is a lesson for Nigeria and Africa, but I believe in time to come in this program, we're going to talk about it. Congratulations to King Charles III.
Yes, congratulations to King Charles III. Thank you very much, Pharmacist Remira. In fact, you almost delve into the next issue that I wanted to bring up on the show, and I think Comrade Lante is going to deal with that. Comrade,
yes, sir.
A new king has taken the saddle, has ascended the throne. It has been proclaimed. It is still being proclaimed across the United Kingdom as we speak, while the state funeral preparations are ongoing. But while there have been a lot of tributes flowing in from all parts of the world, there have been a lot of reactions, positive and negative. Some people have been really, really upset about the past activities of the British Empire in the days of empire, and some people are even blaming the Queen and all that. This may not be the time to begin to apportion blame and all that, but some of these reactions, they are not things that we can just wave away. People from India, Africa, the Caribbean, there's been a lot of reactions as well. So, but now we have a new king in place. So, what is your take on all these positive and negative reactions? Because some have even gone really overboard. We've seen the tweets by a professor, in the US. I'm just trying to remember her name. I can't. A female professor and all that. And there have been some other reactions like that. So what is your take, Comrade Oriahi? Comrade, are you with us?
It's like Comrade Alright is frozen.
It's frozen. So, pharmacist, I know you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Tony Agbons. I can take it up from there.
Yes.
Absolutely. When you are worried and you are aggrieved, you have every right to make your comments. So I think all the tributes, whether negative or positive, being channeled to the royal family and indeed King Charles III, who is the current leader and head of government of the United Kingdom, I think it's okay. It's appropriate. Lessons need to be learned. Remember, these issues of slavery, slave trade, and all happened in the past. But that, because it happened in the past, it's not enough to say that it should not be corrected. I think the British establishment owe the world some form of apology, where possible, some form of retribution to be made, where possible, even some form of money to be given to these people. But I think an apology is very important. And I also think that going forward, which I believe they have, we can also learn. I think they should learn from this. And I must say, Dr. Tony Agbons, they have indeed learned from it. So what is left is for those, like you always say, those people that have been oppressed, we, the people, to mount pressure and let them know. And a big lesson, while we criticize royal family and the things happen time past, the big question is, what are we doing now to ourselves? A case in point is Nigeria, which I believe we are indeed going to talk about. But I think there is every reason for us to say what they've done wrong, and I think they need to apologize. And where possible, if there's monetary value to be put to these things, it should be done once and for all. I think Comrade Bonsa is back, so he can take your question.
Yeah, and I'm going to because you I think you've dealt very well with my question. Comrade Lante had some technical issues, but now he's back. Comrade, should the British monarchy apologize for colonization and the impact of colonization in certain parts of the world, predominantly Africa, in Asia, and in the Caribbean? Should they apologize? What is your take?
I think the question I ask is, what is the apology going to do? Is it going to roll back, the time? Is it going to provide more money for Nigerians who are suffering today? Is it going to provide security? What is it going to do? Apology. What is it going to change, really? I think that we need to be, a bit more. Our concern should be a bit more circumspect. The things we give attention to, particularly on issues like these, should be a bit different. The reason is because what has happened in history has happened in history. So, for instance, there are aspects of our own history that the British were not involved with that had to do with us as a people and all of that, and they were very bad. And besides that, when we're talking of imperialism, talking about slave trade and every other thing and all of that, the Benin man says, there were people who benefited from those processes.
Can you translate that parable, please?
Yes, I'm coming here. But what that means is that if a wood does not have, a vent or a hole, an ant will not go into it. You understand what I'm saying now? So what that meant is that there were people, black people, Africans, that helped to facilitate some of these things and all of that. So at the end of the day, what have we done to those people? You understand the picture of what I'm saying now?
Comrade, sorry to interject you. I hardly do this. Now you are saying this, but people have also said on the other side is that the British Empire and other world empire at that time created the market for the supply of this slave.
Bro, you may be aware, that when we talk about slave trade, for instance, there are aspects of Africa that slave trade did not get to. There are places that slave trade did not get to, that were not open for that business. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? It's not because they didn't make approach to some of those areas. You understand? It's because the people were resistant. They didn't allow those things to come to their own doorstep. And at the time we're talking about right now, it was a time of very serious industrial revolution. That was what was in vogue at the time. You get what I'm saying now? That was something that came up in this world at the time that, people began to take advantage of. But from time to time in history, nations have always taken advantage of nations and all of that. But I think that we have long past that era. And again, to put the blame on Queen Elizabeth, I think it is lack of foresight. Now, Are you aware that Queen Elizabeth wasn't even around when colonialism started in Africa? She wasn't around when colonialism started in Africa. But under Queen Elizabeth, all of the colonies of Africa got their independence. I'm not trying to make too much argument about this. Under Queen Elizabeth, most of the African nations that were under the colonial rule started having their, what's it called, their independence, conferences in London to determine their independence and all of that. Under this woman, nations started becoming independent and all of that. And yet, in our own Benin, we are Edo people. In our own Benin kingdom, we have our great Obas that conquered over 201,000 villages. If we had used the policy of assimilation, Benin as a nation would have extended today practically to places like Benin Republic, because Benin conquered far and wide. The Benin nation is bigger than the present day Nigeria, as it were, because it was a time of dominance in that era. We had Oba Ewaye the Great. We had Oba Ozolwa the Great. Combined, these two Obas conquered over 400,000 villages.
Yeah, territories.
Extending far beyond the west coast of Africa. Now, if they had used the policy of assimilation at the time to say, when we conquer you, you become part of the empire. We put a king there, you become subservient to the empire and all of that. I tell you today, Benin as a kingdom would have extended the length and breadth of the West African sub-region. Who have we apologized to among these nations? Who is demanding apologies? Now, moving from there, now that we're in a new colonial state where we have become colonizers of ourselves, where less than 1% of Nigerians today control over 80% of our resources, thereby making Nigeria today the poverty capital of the world, a nation, technically, practically, potentially the richest nation in this world. Since 1916, when they left us to govern ourselves, who has been colonizing us? So I hear
Comilante, I know where you are going to, but I need to push it at this moment. What Dr. Tony Agbons is saying, that should we not at least, as a form of respect, demand an apology? Yes, if you should.
So to be very honest, I think that it is not necessary. I think that the apology we should demand is it is even from amongst ourselves, not from the British. I think the apology we should demand is for us to look inwards and begin to govern ourselves properly. Who says that since 1960, if we had governed ourselves properly, that this country today would not have been competing favorably with the UK? UK is the 5th largest economy in the world. What number is Nigeria since they left us?
So, comrade, I'm going to stop you there now. Thank you, sir. You said a lot, and you've made very, very valid points. Now, I'll come back to you, comrade. Now, we leave the issue of apology. That is still a debate, and people are taking the opportunity of the demise of Her Royal Majesty to bring this issue again to the fore, because for me, timing is key with respect to anything. And a comrade have said that it was the era of dominance. If you were powerful, you take over the next territory and make them yours. Because the more territory you had then, the more tax you are able to collect. So that was the intent. Things like that don't happen again, and that is why there has been a lot of condemnation for the Russia Ukraine kind of thing that is happening even now. So things like that don't really happen again. Now, Pharmacist Remiran, this is the point I want to make. I have seen on social media a lot of Nigerians, because this is where we are bringing this topic home now. The legacy of Queen Elizabeth II, an implication for Nigeria 2023 elections. The British left Nigeria in 1960. In fact, from 1957, they were living. Then in 1960, we got the official independence. This is 2022, 62 years. Look, a man of 62 years, his life is almost done. So should we still be blaming the British for the problem we are having in Nigeria today? Especially looking at our election coming again next year. Who is the real colonizer now? Pharmacist Remiran, take the mic.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Agbons. But not often do we disagree. But I just want to say to Comilante, everything he said is right. But I think in this day and age, just to say I'm sorry and an apology is important. So we leave that at that. But with the question you asked, we are even our worst enemy. And Comrade said something about imperialism. The imperialistic approach that we Nigerians have on ourselves is absolutely serious. You said it quite well. 62 years, our oppressors, in quote, have left us. What have we done with our life? Dr. Tony Agbons, having lived in this part of the world for almost 2 decades, I have come to understand something. It is the value that you give to yourself or your plot that people will respect.
Absolutely.
Dr. Tony Agbons, since the demise of Queen Elizabeth, the entire television house all over the world has been agog. Everybody beaming on the United Kingdom. Me and you, we both live here. They don't have nothing. They don't have shishi. But they've covered themselves in glory. And they are the beautiful bride of the world. This is what Nigerians are failed to do. Not all Nigerians, but the political class. And that is why we are where we are today. Some people will argue, let the British come and recolonize us if we are going to remain in present-day Nigeria. Even some Nigerians are also crying. We want military to come back. Why? Because of a clear demonstration of failure of leadership. It's only in our country that we like only your own and leave the rest. How can you live in a street where you are the only one that has light? Your neighbors don't have, and you think you are safe?
You are using generator.
When Comelato was talking, it said something that really touched me. That when they came, some people in some part of the world, i.e. Africa, refused to buy into that trade because they love their people. Today we are having it. Do you know that S-men and the kidnapping has become a business that certain people are benefiting from? Even leaders are getting money from. A man has recently been arrested, I've forgotten his name. I hear he's confessing. And if you know the quality of names that have been mentioned, I wish they were not Nigerians. Dr. Tony Agbons, I tell you, they are our brothers and sisters. They are really Nigerians. So to put it in context, we are still undergoing slave trade in a different form in the 21st century.
Yes.
Our leaders are now imperialistic to us, the Talakawas. And that is why we continue to remain where we are. Let us give it to the United Kingdom. To be a leader of the world, which is growing, many years and people growing in technology, they are still reckoned with either 5th or 6th economy in the world, is something to be proud of. And our leaders need to learn a lot from the United Kingdom and indeed prosperous countries in the world. Imperialism, slave trading has not left Nigeria. It's still with our leaders. They have refused to speak truth to power. They have refused to see leadership as service. Like somebody said today, when you stand into the royal stool of the United Kingdom, you declare yourself as the chief servant. But when you stand into the stool of leadership in Nigeria, you are no longer a servant, you are the warlord, mashing, patching, destroying everybody that comes before you. So it is a very big lesson. And you've always used this word in this program every time, and I like it. That the greatest weapon of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. We need to wake up from that mind. We need to wake up from imperialism. We need to wake up from slave trading. Our leaders have a lot. Nigeria has 62. It's a shame where we are.
Nigeria has 62. We see all the challenges. Comrade Oriaki, I'm coming to you. But before I come to you, I just want to viewers, our phone numbers is been displayed. It's floating on the screen. Please pick your phone and call in to give your contributions to the implication and looking at the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. So just call in. So, comrade, people are saying, oh, they came to our place, they stole our things, they took slaves, and you have said even some people resisted it and all that. But this is my question to you. Are we not the one enslaving ourselves today in Nigeria? The political elite, that 0.01% you mentioned earlier. Are they not the one really enslaving us? Should we still be blaming the British at this time, 2022?
You know, bro, to be honest with you, we are in an era of neo-colonialism. And this era of neo-colonialism is so unfortunate that the colonizers are ourselves. Okay? Now, even when we look at, you know, in the wider spectrum, to say less than 1% of Nigerians today control over 80% of our wealth. Today, Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world and all of that. That's a wider spectrum. When you come down to a very small, you know, micro, you know, examples within families, within villages. Today, look at the mess that is taking place in Edo State, for instance, Benin City, for instance, with this issue of what's it called, that has been happening with this issue of what's it called, land grabbers.
Land grabbers, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, who are the people perpetuating the act? Are they not people are supposed to be brothers keepers? People are supposed to be children of Benin City, of Edo State, that should love the land and respect, you know, the land. But they are the ones who will sell land to one person, sell the same land to another person, sell that, and create commotion in the land. They are the land people who will encroach into a land belonging to an institution and begin to sell the land inside. So at the end of the day, when you move away from that, come to even the family units. I mean, yesterday I was listening to a woman whose husband had died having worked for one of these oil companies, and the man was entitled to about 20 million naira. The family of the man claimed the money and left the woman and her children with nothing. Where is the love at the very micro level? Because it's easy for us to talk about all of these other, you know, politicians who are. So when you look at it, you can almost say that inherently the black man is a wicked man. The black man does not understand the true meaning of love and the true meaning of patriotism. This is what these people understand, and it is working for them. Today, the debate is about.
Yes, go on, comrade. Yes.
Comrade is frozen.
It's frozen. Yes, so continue from there, pharmacist.
I will just take it up from there. Yeah, Comrade, you are back. Well, while we are waiting, it's like Comrade is not back. But just, you know, what Comrade was trying to emphasize is that we have become like we hate ourselves and we do things against ourselves. And Dr. Tony Agbons, I think the simple reason is that we have failed in leadership and we don't follow the law and set rules. Everybody do what they like because they know they can get away with it. I am a pharmacist. I know my boundary. If I do things that are wrong, there is no issue. My name will be struck off. I know that already. But in Nigeria, people that are professionals will do whatever they like because they know they can bribe their way through. And that is the reason why we continue to have poor leadership and people that are not visionary. Do you want me to talk about the religious part? I believe everybody in Nigeria, they are all religious in one form or the other. And you ask yourself, why are we having this? And all the religious outfits, Muslim, Christian, whatever, would always say, do good and no evil. So you ask yourself, where is this coming from? Slavery was done to us many years ago, but we have refused to leave slavery. We refuse to create an egalitarian society where everybody enjoys the benefits and you become prosperous. I think and I hope that 2023 will be a watershed moment. I see the current president of Nigeria, Gregory Obi, as the new Queen Elizabeth II. This is our 1952 moment. We have to grab it.
This is our 1952 moment. We have to grab it. Thank you so much, Pharmacist Remina. Comrade Lamte is back. I think his line was frozen. Now, Comrade Oriaki, I think the pharmacist has finished up what you were saying, and you have made your point very, very clear that which you forget about this this slavery, playing the victim's card. My brother, to be honest, 1960 to 2022 is enough time for us to change our society. Absolutely. Because at the moment we are the one enslaving ourselves.
Absolutely.
And election is next year. And what do we have now? People, campaign is going to start, and the early signals we are getting about the campaign is that some people have no agenda, but they just feel that it's their turn. Some people have no agenda, they just feel that it is their birthright, they must be there. They have to be the one that is the leader, and they have no capacity. So, comrade, if you listen to the speech of the new king, he said, he told the people, he said, I will serve you with love and respect.
Yes.
And you were talking about love just now.
Yes.
Is it that our politicians, because I want us to talk about the politicians, we'll come to the people later. Our politicians, is it that they don't love our people? Because somebody was saying something, I watched a documentary about Dubai, how that desert was turned to El Dorado. He said,
You want to take the call out?
yeah, we'll take the call.
Hello. Yeah, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Loretta Oboroko. I'm speaking from London right now.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I've just been watching you gentlemen on the Comrade show. And kudos for your even international acquaintance with things ongoing currently in the world. And I just wanted to lend my voice to the fact that some people are actually saying we should stop imperialism. The Queen was an icon of colonialism and all of that. You know, as Africans, colonization in our past, that's true. And neo-colonization colors our present life. That is true as well. We can't deny that. But our future lies in us, liberating our own minds from all of these and taking our place on all getting emotionally above the past, as well as all the hatred, and objectively negotiating our future. So bringing this home to Nigeria, for instance, or even maybe Jamaica and the Caribbean, the question is, are some of us not being auto-imperialists, where certain tribes or certain ethnic groups will dominate the others and think it's okay? Or like, was it from Artist Rema talking about kidnapping and herdsmen, and some sectors just think it's okay, and even the leadership is not doing anything about it? And I want to ask you three gentlemen, the monarchies in Nigeria, they abound till date, from the north to the south to the west. How much self-preservation of our people do the monarchies themselves do? Juxtapose this with the monarchy of England. You will see Prince's Trust and Queen for children out of school, even as much as the Conservation Club. Philip Mombasson used the worldwide lead for the Conservation Club, WWF, across the world. And they raise money for even animals. What are our monarchies raising money for? What are they? Let's really begin to introspect and reflect on ourselves before we begin to lay blames on both sides of history. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to say colonialism, imperialism is right or wrong. What I'm saying is that we are where we are now, as a people, as a race, as Nigerians, as West Africans. What are we doing for our own selves, rather than laying the blames on others? Well done, gentlemen. I will leave you beyond the best for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Loretta Odoware Oboroko, for your contributions. Thank you so much. Comrade, I was saying that the leaders of Dubai, somebody in the documentary said they love their country. So why is it that our leaders or rulers, they don't love the people?
I think we need to first and foremost, we don't understand what love means. Our understanding of love is in reverse of what we're talking about right now. But these people have a broader, idea of what love actually means. Particularly when you talk of love of nation, you understand the picture of what I'm saying now, and all of that. But when you look at us, for instance, if we look at how we are now, where we are, we must try to take a look back and look at where we are coming from, even before imperialism, before slave trade, before any of these things. How did we live? Did we actually live like a people who loved each other? We probably did, as small units, as ethnic groups, okay, without this nation states arrangement. That's not the picture of what I'm saying now. But even at that, in our own place, we always make example of our own place where I'm from. Okay, we grew up knowing that people who have magical powers can easily go and employ the magical powers to bring down others. Today the issue of the subject matter of witchcraft and wizardry, for the purpose of bringing down others, making sure that even though you cannot get to a particular position, nobody around you should get there. It's a matter that is very prevalent in our own place. The result of all of these kind of practices is regressive for the individuals, regressive for the nation. So at the end of the day, we have largely remained where we are because we grew up under a culture of bring them down. I must be the only person that has to be seen. So, and that culture right now has now metamorphosed and grew into greed, serious betrayal. Some people are just born into the act of betrayal to put others down, to be the ones who are seen, even though they cannot get to the position of that global acclaim. But they want to ensure that nobody around them gets there. We are still experiencing that even today. So when that translates into such a person becoming a governor, becoming a president, becoming a minister, a commissioner, and all of that, you cannot tell yourself, what will this person do? Will this person allow some other person who he understands, knows better, is better prepared to handle something? Because we live in a place where people don't want others to shine. And most of all, they want to be the only ones to be seen to be shining. So when you look at it, all of these, and you compare them and contrast them with what is prevalent. I mean, Aaron was saying he has lived nearly 2 decades here. Many people can say they have lived 3 decades abroad, lived 4 decades abroad. We can see the contrast. Even while we are here, this is a country where they are not religious. People don't even practice the Christianity we proclaim. We have more Christians in Nigeria.
The Christianity and the Islam we proclaim.
We proclaim, and yet they don't translate into societal growth. They don't translate into anything, but the culture of you promote even the wickedness more. So at the end of the day, my brother, I think the summary is that we don't understand love. And looking at what Dr. Leta just made mention of, look at these other small institutions, our traditional rulers and every other thing. What impact have they in our society? In what way are they helping our society grow? What trust, what foundation, what are they raising funds for to help society to grow? I will say that they don't have the past to do that. They do. Some of them are multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires, and yet the level of poverty prevalent in their own society is so much because they try to want to own everything. You understand what I'm saying now? So at the end of the day, we don't have that national growth ideas or ideas, practical ideas coming from even the traditional institutions, themselves across Africa. Let me not even just say Nigeria. So that's
Thank you.
Why still even on the issue of love? I had wanted to say this before. Do you know that ASU has been on strike now for over 200 days? They will soon complete 1 year. Our government have failed to speak. Our leaders, the monarchs, have also failed to speak. Also, just to inform you, I belong to the Uniben Worldwide WhatsApp. In this same vein that ASU was on strike, other unions in university were on strike. Only few days ago, the news broke that a jet gentleman has not been able to get money to feed his family, came back to work to borrow money from friends and could not get any. The gentleman went home and killed himself. May his soul rest in peace. I'm talking of Mr. Kata Oshodi. Just to show you that love has since evaporated from our land.
Sir, just to add to that, sir, on the issue of ASU strike. Sorry, Dr. Agbons.
Yeah,
Do
go
you
on.
know that we have children right now at home? In this September, a new session was supposed to have started.
Yes.
Okay? Now, there are children that have written jam. Okay? In fact, 2 jams right now, people have written 2 jams waiting to be admitted. Now, you can imagine the kind of vacuum this is creating right now in our society and the kind of damage in the long run it's going to do for our society, in our society.
And Dr. Tony Agbons, people are still campaigning.
And
Yeah, in fact, that's what I just
want. Dr. Agbons, just to learn, just to round up.
Yes.
Meanwhile, as we speak, EFCC is still indicting people for having stolen so much amount of money, even more than what the entire ASU is asking for, that the federal government is not giving.
In fact, I was just coming to that. Pharmacist Remira and Comrade Oriahi. The ASU strike is getting to over 200 days since they've been on strike. And the political party that have put out in that mess, they are campaigning. And some Nigerians are clapping for them and they are supporting them. So who is enslaving who? And who is like the Dr. Loretta said in her call, I wrote this down. He said, our future lies in us, liberating our own minds, objectively navigating our destiny. So 2023 is here. Candidates are contesting election. Some of us have said, look, this status quo cannot continue. Let's get somebody who can do this job. Because it's a job. Yes. The office of president, office of governor, local government chairman, councillor, senator, House of Assembly, it's a job. But our people have taken it as an opportunity to become warlords, to become an imperial lord. Even kings and queens, they work for their people. In Holland, I think they have a monarchy. Yes. Denmark, there are a lot of countries that take Thailand, they have monarchy. Japan, even Spain, thank you. So they have monarchy. And even kings, they still work for their people. But our own, they get into office and then they just become rich. Everybody is hailing there, Your Excellency, Your Excellency. And they are not excellent. How can somebody be Your Excellency when he's not excellent? So, pharmacists, I want to ask you this question. Even on this platform now, some people are dropping messages and they are still blaming Britain for the problem of Nigeria. And when I read such things, I'm like, for real? You don't know where to put your blame? What is your reaction to this blame culture that Nigerians especially, they are blaming other people for their own irresponsibility? Pharmacist, I want you to talk on this one.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Agbons. That has become our story. And it's indeed very, very, very sad. Absolutely sad. That we have now taken the culture of always blaming people for our problems. We need to look ahead. Let me tell you what happened in 1997, where our leaders have failed to understand their followers. In 1997, when Princess Diana died, this queen that we are talking about was reluctant to speak to the people. The people of Britain demanded that the queen will have to address and speak to the people. The queen refused. But when she saw the uprising of the British people, she had no choice but to rise and address the people, just to at least calm them down and to give them a ray of hope. In our country, our leaders are totally forgotten what leadership is, and they don't even feel our impact. A government that has put us in this situation has the humanity and power to call for elections and they want to be involved. Let's take the call.
Okay, we'll take the call. Yeah, go ahead. Take the call.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, my brother.
Well done, sir. You're on to the Comrade Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Kuwait.
What's your name, sir?
Yeah, Sunday
Go ahead, sir.
from Edo. Yeah. You know, this blame issue, somehow, I would say or agree that people who blame have some 50 to 60% reasons for doing so. So we cannot completely condemn people who have this blame completely. I want to use recent happenings as an example.
Yes.
We remember the NSAS that happened recently.
Yes.
What was the outcome? Is it true that nobody died, like the Nigerian government postulated? Or did people die at all? If it is true that some persons died, who covered it? What is the motive behind that covering? Who benefited because of that covering? That cover-up, who benefited? Is it the masses or the government? And then because the government benefited from that covering up, what?
Yeah, I think my brother Sunday, let me hold on, Sunday. The blame we are talking about here. Hello, Mr. Sunday.
Mr. Son.
Let's redirect him.
Hello.
Allowing such thing happen next time. So this is the implication of when certain things happen, the truth is not allowed to come out. So while in extension to that point now, let me also use an example of recently.
Sir, you have 20 seconds, sir.
Okay. The impact of support from the West has not left Nigeria completely. So it has continued to be an advantage to the present government and the system in which they operate, and always bring negative to the people of Nigeria. That is why Nigerians have not been able to wake up. Because anytime anybody tries to wake up, the government will hit hard on that person. And the government will also get support from the West from doing that. This is why it has been difficult for Nigerians to wake up, and why we will not completely tolerate and they are intruding into the Nigerian affairs. Look at Caroline, how she move around Nigeria. Is she a councillor or is she a governor in Nigeria? Is she not supposed to remain in her embassy? It is because of their influence in Nigerian system. That is why it has failed to change.
Thank you very much, sir. The point is well made. I think it's time we're over to you, Dr. Agmos. Let me not jump in.
Yeah, I wanted our brother Sunday from Kuwait to hold on. I think he missed it, or probably he joined the program at the midpoint. The blame we are talking about is Nigerians blaming the British Empire for the problem of the country. So I wanted us to establish that so that we don't misinform our viewers. But the point brother Mr. Sunday made about the NSAS, that was true. There are a lot of alleged covering over that issue. So, but we are saying,
was it the British that created that?
Exactly. So I think that was why I hardly interject people when they speak, but I had to come in my role as a moderator so that we don't misinform the public. What we are saying is, should we be blaming the British Empire for what is happening in Nigeria now? Because people are still saying, "Oh, what happened in 1905?" For God's sake, there's enough time for us to have right the wrong. Let's look at Rwanda, for instance. This was a country that had serious genocide. Millions of people were killed. Look at Rwanda today. Excuse me. So, because if we keep this blaming, our country is not going to go anywhere. And I think, and this is why this program today is very important, we are juxtaposing how the British Empire has evolved. There are nation states now. Four different nations make up the UK, and the country is growing. It's the 5th largest economy in the world, and we cannot even be counted. I don't even think we are in the number. So for me, without apology to anybody, we should stop blaming other people for things that we can do right.
Sir,
So that is my own take.
Sir, just to add some bite to it, I don't know if you are aware. David Cameron, when he was prime minister, told the same Queen of England that the politicians are stolen from Nigeria. If such monies are taken from the British treasury, that Britain will collapse. The money stolen, they were not taken by the British. They were taken by Nigerians. So people have said, oh, well, why would the British banks and the European banks and Western banks accept this money, corrupt money and everything? For crying out loud, these are banks that are working. Who asked our own Zenith Bank or First Bank not to accept corrupt money from Britain and America? If it comes. Why is corrupt money from Britain and America and from Europe not coming? Why are they not coming to come and deposit their corrupt money in Nigerian banks?
In Zenith.
In First Bank, UBA, and all of those things to better Nigeria. Why? Pharmacist Remira, your audio is on. You may have to check that. Why is it that to be one of the biggest billionaires that has invested in Dubai? I cannot independently prove this, okay? But the industry of article in Dubai, as alleged, is huge. Now, if that is true, how come? Why are these things the way they are? Why is it that we are the ones taking our own?
I think Comrade is frozen there. Pharmacist, if you can hear me, I think I'm going to come to you to stand in for Comrade while he takes care of the technical problem there. So this issue of blaming Britain and blaming everybody for our problem. Peter Obi was campaigning recently in the US. Not campaign have not started. He was speaking in a town hall meeting. He did say something, and he said that when he was governor, people have told you to come and buy a house in America. And he told them, I don't live in America. I live in Onitsha. That's where my house should be. So looking at that, why do you think our politicians, Nigerians, have that temerity to be blaming others for our own problem? I think we're having audio problems there. So, but why Pharmacist Remira and Comrade Lamte, before they get back on, I just want to say that as Nigerians, we need to really look at ourselves very well, especially as we prepare for the next round of elections. Let us look at ourselves. So, Pharmacist, what do you think as Nigerians we should be doing 2023 elections? Because we are closing this particular topic now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Agbons. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear. Go on.
Absolutely, and thank you for that question. I wanted to have a follow-up while Comrade Lamte was talking. I want to remind our viewers that Abacha died over 20 years ago. His loot from abroad is still featuring him. The blame game and the system of blaming has been well choreographed by our leaders. Even the current APC, they are still blaming PDP for office they took a little over seven years ago. The blame game has become the masterpiece of our new colonialists, Nigerians themselves, to use our advantage to continue to colonize us. Like I said while I was talking, in the same climate and a good environment, should APC even be campaigning? If they are campaigning, what are they going to tell Nigerians? I listen to the news very well. All the people that come to TV houses to talk about APC, they are either benefactors or workers. If you want to know the true picture, go to the masses. And you were talking about what Obi said and what he has said while speaking in different places in the world. The only opportunity we have now is a repeat of British 1952. And this is 2022. You can see how symbolic it is. We have somebody who we know, who's anticipating. Okay, let's take the call.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Yes, you are on to the Comrade Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Yeah. This is Susan. My name is Susan from UK.
Go ahead, man.
It's just regarding the show about the blaming issue. Okay.
Yes.
I've been watching. I didn't actually want to comment, but just a quick one to add to what you've been saying. Sorry. First of all, regarding the blaming issue, that's been an issue for over decades, like you rightly said. And it gets me really upset when I hear that, when people keep saying, oh, this is what happened and this is why it's happening. Like this issue of England, people blaming English people for what has been done and all that stuff, which is not really fair. Number one, the typical Nigerian person, they need to change their mindset. They need to move away from that aspect of blaming. For example, in Nigeria, you want to help a particular person. You want to help them do something. I'm talking from the grassroots now. You want to offer help to them, and then you tell them what you want, what they want. No, they tell you what they want you to do for them. But eventually, you do that thing, they still find a way of blaming whatever it is on whatever didn't happen or whatever happens. To cover up, it's a general issue, and Nigerians need to wake up from that. In politics, politic-wise, it's the same thing. A government go into, or a person go into a leadership, the first thing they think about is to get there. Once they get there, they forget the rule of leadership. This is one thing I admire about Peter Obi when he says something about the rule of law. The rule of law, where people are held accountable of whatever they do.
Absolutely.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. You are vibrating.
Yeah, where people are held accountable of what they do, which is nothing happening. It's never happening in Nigeria. Nobody asks for whatever happens, and everybody keeps blaming this for this. Even in your family, within the family, a man does something and he blames it on the wife, or a child does something, they blame it. Like this saying goes, charity begins at home. If we as Nigerians, we start cultivating that attitude and the mindset of living uprightly, as in like
take responsibility.
Yes, and living with integrity. We keep always blaming government this, government that, government this. You said something about land. I know how many land they've taken from me in that Benin as a whole. You know, is it the government that stole my land? No, it's not the government. It's the people. Even your family, you give them money to do stuff for you. They consume the money. They just take the money, they embezzle it, and they give you stories and blame it on something. So we need to grow up. We need to grow up outside that level.
So you could round off now. We're having another call.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.
So we need to come out of that blaming, and move on and get that mindset correctly of how we need to do stuff. That's all I need to say. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you so much, Susan. So a call is coming. So pharmacists, quickly just complete what you were saying. As per the 2023 election, Peter Obi buying house in America and all that.
Yes, I think Peter Obi is right. You don't live abroad. Why are you buying houses? Can you show me the house of Barack Obama in Nigeria?
You have another call.
Yeah, please, we take the call.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, sir. Speak a bit louder. What's your name and where are you calling from? This is the Comrade Show.
Yeah, this is Festus calling from Denmark. I just want to make a quick contribution to what you guys are discussing. First and foremost, I want to thank you, Comrade Lanti and Pharmacist Remia, for the good job you guys are doing. But I want to make one point very clear.
We call you Dr. Agbons here, so you don't forget.
So my brother, you forgot me. You forgot me. I'll take you to court too.
Go ahead, sir.
Never again we will not stop. We will stop to. Talk about what the British did to Nigeria. Otherwise, they make make the northern region of Nigeria to believe that the power is their birthright. Everybody is chanting Obi. To every northern mindset right now, you will discover that they have something they want to do when it comes to 2023 election. You can't deny that fact. When 2023 comes, you see they are all going to vote in mass to article. So we know this because they want to retain power. This is why Nigeria is not moving. We know this. So let's not say, the British has not done anything wrong to Nigeria. The constitution at which Nigeria stands at this moment is faulty. That's why you have...
Sorry, sir. Was it the British that gave us the constitution that is faulty?
No, it's not the British that gave the constitution that is faulty, but the people that have been ruling Nigeria, they are in collaboration with the British people. We can't deny, we can't shy away from this truth.
Okay. Yeah, but let us answer Festus.
Nigeria, and then we were expecting the the parliament of the British to debate it and say what happened to these children.
Why would the parliament of British debate the NSAS protest in Nigeria? How many British matters do Nigerian parliament debate?
Exactly.
Anyway, bro, you have made your points. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, thank you very much, our brother Festus from Denmark. You see, this is our sister Susan that called in from the UK. She said something which really struck me. He said, we need to change our mindset. The typical Nigerian, we need to change our mindset because we can't keep blaming. Yeah, we take the call.
Hello. Please, can you tune down your device so that we can hear each other properly?
Okay.
So what's your name?
My name is Ndubeze. I can call him from UK.
Go ahead, sir.
I didn't get the name.
Ndubeze Ike.
Yes, please.
From UK.
Thank you,
Yes, speak louder, sir.
I said my question is about what's happening in the country. We have representatives, Senate, House of Representatives, checkmates the presidency. And then in the state level, we have the House of Assembly. But there is something as a Democrat that we haven't activated, and that is the calling whosoever is not performing. How can we sensitize Nigeria in recalling a member being elected to a House of Representatives, Senate, Assembly, to others? And once we start doing that, maybe we start.
Is it the British that will help us do that, sir?
I'm not talking about the British. I'm talking about our Nigeria.
Okay, sir. Our subject matter is the legacy of Queen Elizabeth and the English people.
Queen Elizabeth or British happened in Nigeria. We got independence. We are served. We are the government ourselves and not the British. Anybody assigning such issues to Britain is not yet a Nigerian. He's living in dreams. We are the ones governing ourselves. We are mature to govern ourselves. That's when we ask for independence. And since independence, we have been having different types of constitutional changes, which is not being made by the British. It is being made by us. And since we are not following that, the rule of law is not something that can be talked about in Nigeria. Because we are not following the rule of law. Nobody is held accountable. Until we start holding these politicians accountable, we will not be salvaged from these evil men.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. This is a very good point from our brother there, Mr. Ndubeze Ike, in the UK. We have to hold government accountable, because, comrade, like you were saying, the Nigeria in Abuja will not be discussing what the UK Parliament should discuss, and will be discussing it. Exactly. And for God's sake, In 1963, we started with a parliamentary system of government, and we have moved since 1979. We moved to the presidential system, the American type. We've bastardized it. We've refused to go federal. Our federalism is a sham.
It's a shame.
Nothing is happening. So, for me, we should blame ourselves for where we are. But there is an opportunity. We are rounding up now. There is an opportunity coming next year. Peter Obi, for me, is the new hope. It is our 1952 moment, like pharmacist Rabira have said. So, pharmacists, in terms of final remark on this issue, what do you think are the lessons Nigerians should take towards next year's election from the legacy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II?
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Agbons. I just want to add before I give my remark, are we still going to talk about the WKRU issue?
No, I think we've run out of time.
Okay, just to talk about that, we've emphasized that in our country, all we do is just to play the blame game. I want to add something else to you, Dr. Tony Agbons. We Nigerians are always taking opportunity for ourselves. You didn't ask me this, but my mind has been saying that to let our viewers know. Do you know?
You want to take that?
Yeah, we take the call. Pharmacist, please just hold the paragraph there.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from? What's your name, sir?
This will be our last call.
My name is Evonse. I'm calling from the US.
Go ahead, Mr. Evans, sir.
Just want to add two things when it comes to the blame game laying upon the British for colonizing Nigeria. I think we have to stop that as Nigerians, because though there was a little was applied during the colonial era, but ever since they left, the person does follow all the ideas, to follow everything like they do in British or whatsoever. So whatever we do in Nigeria is up to us. No, so Nigerians have to stop blaming the British for everything that happened. So we moved on now. So we have to change everything, because Nigeria, like an average, does not know Nigeria history. That's true. I've seen a lot of them. So a lot of Nigerians don't know where. So they don't even know where Nigerians are going. No. So all like we blame British call this, British call this. British is not cost anything. So the fault is Nigerian. So we have to don't treat it we keep blame game upon the British. We'll never move forward. So I'm just urging my Nigerians to stop the blame game. So we shouldn't be blaming the British for what happened, for whatever happened. Because like even in Nigeria, like a young girl or whatsoever, we refuse to speak any of Nigerian dialect. Why? Because they say, they speak English whatsoever. So the British don't force you not to speak your language. Did the British tell you not to speak your language? No. Even an average Nigerian will refuse to bear Nigerian name, indigenous name. They prefer to bear like a British name whatsoever. So we have to stop this thing. This is just a mental issue whatsoever. So the British has not handled this. So we have to stop blaming them. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, our brother Irunse. Pharmacist.
Even those of us who speak the English, we want to speak like the Americans and the British.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Dr. Tony Agbons, I know time is fast spent, so what I wanted to say, I'm not going to say it anymore, but I just want to say that 2022 is our 1952 moment. This is the time that Nigerians should reawaken themselves. We should not listen to old stories anymore. We have a new kid in the block who is somewhat different, with new vision, new idea. We've tried the old practice. This is our moment to take a risk and try the new one. And I want to assure Nigerians, the risk will be worth it at the end of the day. And the men obediently obedient. If you have not got your PVC, please do so, get one, come out, educate people, and vote for the Labour Party.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pharmacist Iremira. Comrade, opportunity for Nigerians to take the destiny of our nation in our hands is beckoning in 2023, and we know the right candidate, but people, for some funny reasons, they are still clapping for people who have put us where we are. What is your take looking at the legacy of Her Majesty the Queen?
Yeah, looking at the legacy of Her Majesty the Queen and just opposing it against the backdrop of how Nigeria has evolved, throughout her reign, it's only very important right now, to look at the direction that we expect and want Nigeria to face from 2023. And the person who appeared to tick, all the boxes for Nigerians, for me, is Peter Gregory Obi. And of course, we have the obedient movement. I think the right path to take right now is the obedient movement. And I want to state, because we are canvassing for Peter Obi, and many people actually just believe, right, okay, once Obi is elected president, overnight everything is going to transform. I like to add this, that for those of us who are obedient, some of us are obedient to the level where we understand that as I am elected Peter Obi as president, I'm equally elected myself into a new Nigeria, which means that all things shall become passed away with me, as I expect with Peter Obi and Nigeria. Because if all things don't get passed away with me, Peter Obi's deliverables will not impart me to impart Nigeria. It therefore means that I am already preparing myself, okay, to be a better Nigerian, a more patriotic Nigerian, one who looks at others before self, one who looks at, service to the Nigerian state as sacrosanct. If we don't get that understanding and we just say we are letting him and Nigeria will start changing, then there's a problem. As we are letting him, we must now give ourselves, to those, rules of engagement that we are all going to play our part in, to collectively join hands together to build a better Nigeria, so that down the line, 50 years, maybe 60 years, 20 years, as the case may be, Nigerians of the future will not stand to blame the British, for the fortunes of Nigeria, which hopefully will be good. Because if our story is good today, based on the application of good governance, deploying our resources rightly, and employment is everywhere, nobody is suffering, there is no unemployment is almost at a zero level, everybody's happy, nobody will be blaming the British today. We are blaming the British because of our wars. So in the light of this, we have come to the level of obedience that today I am no longer Comrade Lamtek Monsa Oriahi. I am now obedient Comrade Lamtek Monsa Oriahi. So if you must, be obedient, you must come to that level where obedience becomes a title. Like I see my colleagues here now, the person I'm seeing here is obedient Comrade Pharmacist Iremira and obedient Dr. Tony Agmons. So that is today, and that is how it is right now. God bless you, sir.
Comrade, I like this one that you have just done now. So our name now is obedient in front. I like that. So that's how I'll be writing my name. And I see your passion, Comrade Remira. I see your passion. We want a better Nigeria. Because like you said, if Nigeria was okay, nobody will be talking about how Nigeria is. India was colonized by the British. Several other countries, they went through the British, and a lot of these countries are doing well. So why is Nigeria different? So Nigerians, we have to sort our nation. We have to sort ourselves. You remember the UK when we left the EU? It was like, oh, things will go this. But the United Kingdom, they've been able to pull themselves together. The people come together, and the country is moving on. So it's time we stop this blame game. Before we finally go, we just want to, on a very happy note, we just want to mention this. One of our very distinguished sons from Edo State, we like celebrating life. We celebrate people when they are here. Our brother, Dr. Johnson Odibo, president of the NIDO, that is Nigerians in Diaspora organization in Switzerland. He's the president. He got this award over the weekend, an award of recognition for his service to humanity and to community. He got it from the Enugu Union of Switzerland, Enugu State Union of Switzerland. So you can imagine. an Edo State son be recognized by Enugu State Union in Switzerland. I think if we got the visuals so that our viewers can see. Yes, that's Dr. Justin Odibo. Pharmacist, very quickly, what do you have to say to our brother, Dr. Odibo?
I just want to say congratulations to Dr. Johnson Odibo. He's doing us well. He's also the president of NIDO in Switzerland. More grace to his elbow. And I want to thank the Igbo community for recognizing our son. Progress all the way for Nigerians. Congratulations.
Yeah. Comrade, very quick one.
Oh, yes. It's huge. Congratulations to Dr. Johnson Odibo. I'm not surprised. He's a diligent young man, and he's always been exemplary. It's one of those examples from Edo State that, we look up to make huge contributions towards the Edo State development and Nigeria at large. Congratulations to Dr. Johnson Odibo. We appreciate you. And, of course, we thank the Igbo communities for coming together to give this recognition. It's well deserved, honestly.
Thank you very much. So, Dr. Odibo, is the mega congratulations from the stable of the Comrade Show to you. And please let us have some Ilalobo from this award, though. So send some to us. We'll be very glad.
Just before you round off, Dr. Agmos, I just want to share these pictures proudly. In the year 1952, I think it was, Queen Elizabeth visited, Benin Kingdom. The story we had was that he was visiting Ile-Ife and asked that the Oba of Benin then, the Oba Akenzua II, should come and meet him. But, because of the way the Benin Kingdom is built, and of course the authority of the Oba of Benin, because we believe very strongly that there are two Obas in the world, the Oba of Benin, and of course, two monarchs in the world, the Oba of Benin, and of course the monarchy of the United Kingdom. These are the two most recognized kingdoms in the world, the Benin Kingdom and the United Kingdom. But if 1952, the Queen of England, getting to understand that Akenzua was not going to travel to Ife to come and receive her, asked that those receiving him at Ife, including the Oba, should accompany her to Benin, where she paid a very important visit to the Oba of Benin. She recognized the kingdom of Benin, and of course the great contributions of Benin Kingdom to global development and of a sort, you understand? And that was captured in Western photography and all of that. But in our own way, we only captured it in our own library, in our own African, the Benin Traditional Library, where we capture most events, which is one of the pains that we are feeling today, that the 3,000 artworks stolen before Queen Elizabeth became Queen of England, that the British people should return to Benin Kingdom. But this one is with us, and I'm happy to share. You can see it, on one part of this, you can see where the Queen was having a handshake with the Oba of Benin. And of course, on the other side, you can see, our own image, a bronze image, to of course record this history, and we still have it recorded. It's in our library, and just to mention, so everybody will understand that this graceful Queen of England is one who romanced, very largely, around the world with leaders of the world. And Benin Kingdom was one of those that she romanced with.
Yeah, thank you very much for that historical perspective. A lot of history there from Comrade Lamte Oriahi. So the visit was in 1956 when she came to Nigeria. And one thing, I just want to add this, I know we are running out of time. As at that time, apart from maybe family members, people of the same descent, the Benin monarch will not even shake a female. But protocol was broken that very day.
No, but that is something too that you must acknowledge.
Yes.
When she landed in Ile-Ife,
yes,
the Queen the leaders and the monarchs in those areas, they greeted her with their both hands when she was shaking them.
Yes.
But when she got to Benin Kingdom, okay, a mark of this is somebody from far away. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is their culture, and of course, the Oba decided to, okay, why not? To show that. So the Oba extended one hand and not
Yes.
two, because two hands is total loyalty, but one hand is we are at par. And that's why I established earlier that there are two kingdoms in the world: the Benin kingdom and the kingdom. So they were at par. Look at the picture again. It is one hand, but the others did with two hands. You
Yes, they did. They did. Yeah.
Okay. So it goes to show that we've always, had our, heads on our shoulders very high. So we must recognize that, very importantly, the two major kingdoms of this world are the United Kingdom and the Benin Kingdom, with the United Kingdom representing the West and Benin Kingdom representing, the black race.
Yeah. And I must add that I'm a very strong historian of Benin history. Our Oba then, very huge, huge Oba. And somebody have asked me, it's like, is it that the Oba was bending? I said, look, our Oba, they're very, very tall. So to measure that handshake.
Queen Elizabeth was too short for her. I think
exactly. Yeah, so I've explained that to a couple of, so you can see that the Oba is a very, very, very huge, well-built monarch in those days. A king, truly a king. After that. Yeah. So I just want to thank you guys, gentlemen. Always a pleasure being in your midst. Pharmacist Iremira, thank you all for your contribution today. Comrade Lamte, thank you so much.
Are you obedient by obedient?
Yes, yes, obedient Comrade Lamte Ponsariahi.
Until you have the right to do so until after 2023 elections.
And obedient pharmacist Comrade Austin Iremira. This one will cut my tongue. So many titles, yeah. So I want to also thank our callers today, Dr. Loretta Oduware Oboroko from the UK. We have Mr. Sunday from Kuwait in the Middle East. Our sister Susan in the United Kingdom. Mr. Festus, our brother from Denmark in the Scandinavia, and our brother Undubaize Ike, who called in from the United Kingdom as well. And then our brother from the United States of America, Mr. Irumse. Thank you all for calling in today. So viewers, on behalf of this table, want to say thank you so much. Please share the broadcast. Those that are giving us stars today, thank you so much. All our contributors who have dropped your comments, you made contributions. There's been a lot of argument, especially with respect to the blame game. And I think the consensus is that we need to stop the blame. Yes, a lot has happened a lot happened when the British colonized us, but the colonization we are doing to ourselves now as Nigerians is even worse. And 62 years is enough for us to develop our nation. And an opportunity beckons as we enter our 63rd year as a nation. We need to vote rightly. This is not the time to vote political party. And Peter Obi, Yusuf Dati is the way. So let us vote wisely as the election comes. So look out for that logo that has Papa, Pikin, Mama. And like Comrade Lante will always say, the one that had the chuku around it, the wheel of progress. So it is on this note that we sign off today. We'll see you, God willing, again next week Sunday. Bye.
Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Lamte Oriake. This is the Comrade Show.